Hey, it's me, Monte. Welcome to a new week. I'm Monte. I am a first grade teacher in Southern California. This is my 20th year of teaching, and this is my second year in first grade, and this is my vlog. Thank you for clicking on my face. It is Monday. It is the 13th of March, and we are just full of leprechauns. It is lunchtime, so it is like 10:45. Lunch just started. We left doing some leprechaun traps for home, I told them. So I found this free. I have to look and I'll connect it. And it's just a color. And then what you do with it after they color is you're going to tape it. And then I'm gonna sprinkle some glitter on it. I don't know what I'm going to do, but my kids are asking so many questions, like how is the leprechaun gonna get up there when it's flat? And so I think we're gonna have to do some investigating. Hopefully I can get some glitter from somebody, and that way I can make the outside magical, or put some magic on it, so that way the leprechaun can use it. Or the leprechaun will use his own magic. I don't know. They're full of questions. They wanted me to cut it, so I started cutting it. And then when I started cutting it, they were like, wait, if you cut it, that means he can just climb out. And so then I started taping it closed because they were freaking out, because that means the leprechaun can leave. This is so hard. So I think I'm gonna find some glitter somewhere. I stay away from glitter because glitter is scary. But I think I'm gonna go around and I'm going to glitter it before they leave, just a little sprinkle, and that way it's magic-fied, and then that way the glitter, the leprechaun, when he goes in for his free gold, he will go in and won't be able to come out. Maybe I messed up, but maybe it's a good thing. Maybe I'll find some magical words to write right here. That way the leprechaun stays in and is not able to come out. So once he's inside, they use their imagination so much. Once they're inside, he'll be trapped inside because of our magical words. That's probably what I'm going to do. So I'll find something in French or something that just says leprechaun stay inside. I don't know. I didn't think that far. I thought they would be fine with just this and taping it and taking it home, but no, they had so many questions. But they're first graders and they're very excited. And then it gets into, are leprechauns real? Miss Monty, are leprechauns real? And I try to stay away from that because is Santa real? I don't know. I don't know. Santa drops by my house and I'm 42, so I don't know. But this is what we're doing. That's what we did. In math, we did shapes. I pulled out our math book, so that made my group that's already been doing shapes, we're doing some pages in the math book, just so that I can try to keep the two groups together. My other group started the first lesson, which is pretty much, I was supposed to make a chart paper that goes over flat shapes, but I gave them a piece of paper, and it's just our plain piece of paper, and we made it into sections and we drew the shapes. We talked about their attributes, and then we're going to move on. Tomorrow we'll do our 3D shapes, our solid shapes. We'll do the same thing with our piece of paper, and then we'll move on. Then on Wednesday, everyone will be on the same lesson, which will be lesson 3 in module 5. Module 5, which is geometry, which I tend to get to geometry at the end of the school year, but they have us doing geometry right now. It's a shorter module, so I guess that'll be okay. And then it goes back to addition and subtraction. But again, I've just been doing addition. I don't know where the subtractions come into play. I think once in one lesson they talked about subtraction, but that was like about it. So I have questions on that. But it's Monday. Everyone's tired. This morning I had 5 kids absent. 4 of them showed up late. It's daylight savings. Everyone's tired. But that's what we're doing. We are on lunch. When we come back, we already did our phonemic awareness. I'm not doing a read out loud this week. I'm doing, every day is going to be a different leprechaun story, and we're going to do a different leprechaun activity. Today we are doing our, we listened to How to Catch a Leprechaun, and then we did our leprechaun trap. And then they are going to write about making their own leprechaun trap. And so I'm going to do it with them, but they're all going to have their own ideas. So I'm going to give them a minute to draw what they're going to do for the leprechaun trap. And then we're going to say, how-to. That's our next writing. So it's going to be like making a leprechaun trap is easy, and then I'll just say first, and then I'll have them just write down the steps to make their leprechaun trap. And then that'll be my writing to go for today. Tomorrow is going to be a art project, so it's not going to be a leprechaun trap. I need to find it, but we'll do an art project that goes with shamrocks. And so I'm going to try to find a shamrock story, talk about shamrocks, and then do that art project, and then take down one of my February projects. We are unit 4, week 3, and it's going over animals still, so nonfiction test. And I think this is talking about how animals get food. I'll have to look at the stories. For phonics this week, we are going over our long O sounds, the different ways of making long O without the bossy E. So it's going to go over O, O-A, O-W, and O-E. And so we'll do phonics today. We'll just listen to the text. I'm going to see what the writing is, and we'll probably do the writing to go with the text also. It's nonfiction, so it's going to be main idea and detail again. And so we'll work on that one maybe today, and then tomorrow we'll do our writing, since we're going to be doing writing for the leprechaun also. But main idea detail is going to be our comprehension skill of the week. I was out Friday. Didn't end up going to the field trip because it was raining so much, and there were flood warnings, and so they canceled the field trip because we do drive our own. You volunteer to drive, but it tends to be every parent is volunteering, so there's 25 cars that end up driving to the field trip. But it was canceled because there was flood warnings over where we were going, and there was flood warnings in my town too, so they canceled the field trip for safety. My kids go to private school, so they don't have buses, so parents have to drive to field trips. A lot of parent involvement, which is okay, which is good. But I wasn't here Friday, so it just ended up being a day off for me, which was awesome. But it rained, and it rained a lot at one time. So I was in my house reading books. So I'm gonna go to lunch. When we come back, we'll finish up. I'll give them a couple more minutes to finish up. We'll do our calming, and then we will do our phonics. After phonics, we will do our groups, which reminds me, I have to do my grouping, my papers for groups. It's going to be the reading the word and putting them where it belongs, and then I'll look for a high frequency word page, and then I have to look for something for writing. So let me take my time. I have about 10 minutes before I'm going to go eat my lunch, and I'm going to go find some things that I'm going to do for groups. Monday, Tuesday is the same group. Wednesday there's no group. Thursday, Friday is the same group, and so I only do 2 groups a day. In the morning I also read with another group, so I pull groups 3 times a day. In the morning, it's my EL group, and then in the group time, it's my EL group again with my middles, and then towards the end of the day, I find some time where I pull my ELs again because I have to hit those 45 minutes of ELD, so I pull them again. So I'm going to look for that stuff, and then I'll see you after school. It's the end of the day. I have to do homework before I go. I totally forgot about it. It's been 30 minutes. And I was walking out to get my copies, and I saw my kids, and I remembered homework. So I need to do that. Homework's really easy. Homework is, well, let me just show you. I do homework on Canvas. That's what we use for our online. We know there's Google Classroom, well, we have Canvas. So this is what I do. So this stays the same. It's the links that I have to switch every week. And so I have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They have to read for 10 minutes. Fluency is on TPT. I bought a pack of, it's the stories in the big book. So the second story that you read during the week on Wednesday, and someone typed it up and put down the numbers on the side. So I don't have them time themselves for a minute. I just put down it's repeated reading, and I put down that, it's beneficial for the kids, and it's the story that they hear in class on Wednesday and Thursday. And then for high frequency words, it goes over the high frequency words in the story or from the story. It's usually the first line, and then the other lines are the high frequency words that go with our sound. So I'm going to look for the high frequency words that have the long O sound, and I'm going to put those in for that. And then it's just an activity. So there's CERN. And then on Tuesdays, I want them to do 10 minutes of Lexia. And then on Wednesdays, I want them to do 10 minutes of ST Math. And then on Thursdays, I want them to do Ed Puzzle. And the Ed Puzzle is over our second story, and it's usually in there. And there's usually questions that someone puts in there. If not, I just use the questions from the TE. Wednesday is usually also a writing day, so I'll put something for them to write and they'll turn that in. And so that's what I do for homework. I need to finish that. What did I find? I have this. I'm gonna have to look to see who did it. I didn't copy it though, so we're not gonna do this tomorrow. What we are going to do tomorrow is we're going to listen to a Leprechaun story, and then we're going to do this. It doesn't have a name on it, so I'll put it in a link below, and it says I'm Lucky. And then I'm going to top that with this leprechaun guy. So they're gonna color this. This is going to be in the middle, and he's going to hold it, and it's going to be a flippy, and then they'll have legs at the bottom. So this is what we're going to do tomorrow for our leprechaun. So that's going to be our little leprechaun fun activity, and then we're just going to have a regular day. So we're going to do, we did our Your Turn practice book for main idea and detail today, and so tomorrow is going to be a writing for our story, and it's just going to be a Tuesday. So that's the only thing that's different, is going to be, instead of doing a interactive read aloud, we're going to read the story and then do the activity with it. So I have a little bit of time. I need to get our high frequency words done, and I need to get the new reading for this week, which is just a copy and paste from the packet that I got on TPT. So I need to put that in for homework, and then I'll be good for the rest of the week. I will change Wednesday though. I guess last week I just put them to have to do ST math, but I'll add that. I'll put back writing, so that way the parents help them and see how their kids are writing. And it's just a prompt, and they're just supposed to turn in a picture on Canvas of what they wrote. I'm gonna fix this stuff, and then I'm gonna go. Thank you for visiting me on Monday, and I'll see you on Tuesday. Hi, how are you? It is Tuesday, and it is raining again. It's supposed to rain today and tomorrow. It's supposed to rain really hard in the afternoon, so we'll see what that looks like. I have 5 kids absent, so I have 19 in the class. Ooh, if I have 19 in the class, I'm gonna see how many I have, because I have a snack right there that only has 20 in it. So I can't give it away because I don't have enough for everybody, but if there's only 19 in the class today, I can give it out to the class today. We came in, we listened to It's Raining Tacos, because that's a song my kids showed to me, and then I end up playing it every time it rains. So we did that, and then we did, I think there's like a Baby Yoda Loves Chicken Nuggets. I do those 2 songs when it rains, only when it rains. I give them a little dance party before we have to sit down and be quiet and read. So it makes total sense. Get them hyped up before they need to be at level 0. So we did that. We came in, or we did that, and then they sat and they read. They are on a Fly Guy marathon. Everything is Fly Guy. I bought 4 ones I don't have. Here's my stack of Fly Guys. The hardcovers were donated by parents, and then the soft cover ones, because I usually don't buy hardcovers because they're fairly expensive, quote unquote, but the hardcovers were from parents. When we started school, I put a Amazon wish list in Class Dojo, and then I had, and it was full of books, because books come apart. You know, when you've been teaching for a very long time and you have, you know, your books come apart and they get taped, and then sometimes you can't tape them. So like this one's all taped up, and so I always am looking for books. I go to the secondhand stores to look for books, but I always ask for donations. Like this one's ripping. I always ask for donations for books. So I put out a classroom wish list in Amazon, and then I sent the link, and so I had families buy me Fly Guy books. I think I'm gonna do the same thing next year, but I'm gonna ask for Henry and Mudge books because they really liked those. So we've been reading those. Again, I wanna do something with them. I've read all of them. They come and they borrow. I have the hardcovers up here, not in the book boxes. They come and they borrow them, and they take AR tests on them. So a lot of them have been finding a lot of success, even though they're a little bit lower reader. Like books, grab them. Series, if you find a series your class likes, it grabs them and it helps them consume books. I do that with my own children. My oldest son was into Percy Jackson, and he read all of Percy Jackson's books. He was also into story of unfortunate events. And so he would just one after the other. My second son was really into Hatchet. And so there's a couple of books of Hatchet. I thought there was just one, but there's a couple. And then he was also into Percy Jackson, but it was like another series. But it wasn't Percy Jackson, but it was kind of like Percy Jackson, but he was into those. And so find a series your kids like in class or at home, and it's just one book after the other. So they've been taking AR tests. So today's been the most. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 tests have been passed. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 friends on my list are friends that have not, that usually don't.
I don't have it in a
Forgot it was rainy day, Cecil. I looked at the clock and it was time to pick them up.
I actually missed playing Starfall.
It just finished raining pretty hard, so I'm going to try to leave before it starts again. I finished report cards. That's what I did for my 30 minutes after work, but I went to go pick them up and I felt bad because usually I am the first one to get them. Usually I'm on it, but it totally skipped my mind that I had to pick them up 10 minutes early, but I wasn't the only first grade teacher. There's only 3 of us. I wasn't the only first grade teacher that forgot to pick up our kids on time, so I was kind of okay. They came in and they did iPad time, free iPad time, but it's not really free because I have to okay what they're going to do. So some of them are doing Starfall, some of them are doing Lexia, some of them are doing ST Math, some of them are doing Epic, and then there was this other game that the school had put on their iPad that they were doing that had a whole bunch of other little games on it, but it's starting to rain again. But that's what they did when they came in. Last recess was Magic School Bus. They watched one about storms. So that was what they did for recess since it's raining again. We did do we did writing, and our writing was on how animals use their body to find food. And so we went through our text again, and we went through the pages to find out ways animals found food. We did our topic sentence, and then we did 2 animals together, or 2 body parts together, and then they had to do their last one by themselves. And I walked around and I gave, 2 M&Ms to everybody that was writing something. What else did we do? I'm kind of sad because my kids made this is how some of their leprechauns, do we have to take this home? And it's like, no. And they just rip them and throw their stuff in the trash. So I guess I should focus on the ones that take it home and not focus on the ones that just rip everything up and throw it in the trash, because they do that for everything. But I also don't want parents to think that we don't do anything, because all their kids do is just stuff it inside the trash. But that's what we did today. Tomorrow we're going to do our 4-leaf, our shamrock, 3D shamrock, because I still haven't taken Valentine's Day. In math, we're all caught up. And so since we're all caught up, I was looking at the other lessons, and I think I'm just going to do this chapter or this module whole group, because the next couple of lessons are shapes, and then it's going over, well, probably not, so I can have my manipulatives, but tomorrow for sure we're going to do whole group. We've gone over 3D shapes, went over 2D shapes. My friends that were ahead of us, we did the 2D and 3D shapes inside the My Math book, so now we're all on lesson 3, and lesson 3 is just going over the shapes again. So we're going to do a little shape book. I got this from Loving First Grade. It was free. And so it's just going to go over the shape name, and it's going to go over faces. We didn't go over edges, so we'll have to go over edges, and then vertices. And so we'll do this. And then we're going to do 1, because cutting and folding are hard for first graders. So I have a pack of 3D shapes. We'll see how they do. We don't glue them. I usually have them do tape, but we'll see how we do. And this is going to tell me if we're going to do more or not. Second graders have a hard time with this. I know last year we tried to do a couple, and so tomorrow all I'm going to do is this one. So we're going to do our math lesson. We're going to do Zern, and then we're going to do one shape. That's it. If I have criers, for sure I'm done. If I have friends that are like, and they could do it, and we're like, yes, and we're trudging along, and they're okay with it, then we might do more. It came with all the shapes. I'll have to look at who did this, but I purchased it on TPT. And so that's what we're doing tomorrow, along with our 3D, and it's Wednesday. So library's tomorrow. I'll have to check. I think they're doing alpaca in the library still. But library might be tomorrow, and then we're going to do those, our shamrock, and then we're going to do our new story. We're on week 3 of unit 4. So we're going to do our new story, listen to it, we'll pay attention to vocabulary, and then we'll either do the writing that goes with it, or we'll do the comprehension skill that goes with it, which is main idea and detail. So that's what we did. Something new that I am going to do, I'll see how it goes tomorrow. I put my kids in for 99 math. 2nd grade and 3rd grade uses it, and they were talking to me about it this morning. And so I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna use that for our fluency grade. We have to be fluent to 10. And so I'm gonna use that. I was doing paper tests, but then I stopped and I haven't continued them. So we're going to do, I'm going to do that. I'm going to try that tomorrow. I finished my report cards. I have my copies. I'm actually going to go to the copy machine or copy room and make my other copies for tomorrow for my 3D shamrock. So this was my Tuesday. I'll see you on Wednesday. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Hi. It's Wednesday. It's raining again. And I just got in trouble because we're on rainy day schedule, but we're not on rainy day schedule. So please follow rainy day schedule, but don't follow rainy day lunch schedule. Okay. So I got scolded for being late to lunch because I was 5 minutes late, but I was on time if I followed rainy day schedule. So there's that. So today is Wednesday short day. That's probably why we're on rainy day schedule, but not on rainy day schedule, but whatevs. They're eating. Short day, hour earlier, finished my report cards, which is a good thing. I'm gonna figure out what we're going to do. We're like a lot behind because we did math together, and math consisted of Zern. Math consisted of going over our 3D shapes. And so I got this, it's from Loving First Grade, and it's just each 3D shape. And we went through and we wrote down the names of the shape. So this one says, this solid shape is a cone has. And so we wrote down all the names of the shapes, and then we went through, I had them grab one color, and we started with the vertices, the vertex, and we just colored the vertex, and we wrote down how many. Vertex is a corner. And then there was our cube, we wrote cube, and when we went through and we did all the vertices at one time. So we counted how many there were, we put our dots on them, and we wrote it. And then after we did all the vertices, we went through and we did the edges. We made our lines, and as we made our lines, we counted, and then we did our faces. So we did that. After we did this, we did Zern. I moved everybody to module 5. I had some kids that were still on module 4 with adding and subtracting. And after we did Zern, we did our cube. His name's Cubie. And I showed them how to do it. I showed them how to cut. And then I brought him back to the carpet and I showed them how to fold it. I brought him back to the carpet. I had one girl that she put it together, she figured it out, and she was like, I'm done, which was awesome because then she started walking around helping. But this is my Cubie. It says Cubie, and it says, I am a cube. I have blank faces. I have 8 vertices, and I have 12 edges. So we just made this, and I told them this might be the only one we made. It depends on how much you cry. It depends how much you say, I can't do this. But if you can do it, we'll make another one. So no one cried. No one gave up. And I also had the friends that finished, they walked around and they helped. So tomorrow we'll do another one for, I think I'm gonna do the cone or maybe the rectangular prism, which will be just like this, or the cylinder. Probably the cylinder might be the easiest one because that's just straight in 2 circles. So we'll see what we do tomorrow, but no one complained, no one cried, no one gave up, no one tore it up. All's happened last year. So we'll do it next year. Even my friend that has like he gets angry, he did it. It didn't come out perfect, but he was like, hey, look, So now they have little QBs on their desk, and QB will go home with them. So that's what we did for math. Like I said, we're way behind because it's already lunchtime and we just finished math. They came in, they did their AR tests. I read with my EL group. Their job in the morning is everyone's still reading. 2 of them go to reading teacher, and they do reading at their level. And then the other 4 are with me, and then they do reading at their level. Not at their level, but at their level. I let them grab whatever books they want. They like Fly Guy, so right now they're grabbing Fly By and Biscuit, and they're sitting. Fly Guy is a high first grade book, but it's Fly Guy, so they're getting through it because they kind of know, like the first page they know for sure because it all starts the same way, and they kind of know like the story since I've read them all. So that's what they're reading. So like I said, it's their level, but it's not their level. It's technically a little bit too hard for them, but they're reading it and they're passing their AR test. Had leftover cereal, so that's their AR prize. Is going to be a handful of cereal. They're happy with that. When we come back in, we'll do our calming, and then we're going to listen to, let me see what I found, what story I found. We've already listened to How to Catch a Leprechaun. And then yesterday we did Pete the Cat, something with leprechauns, or St. Patrick's Day. And then today is going to be, where's the one I found? Gingerbread Man and the Leprechaun, Loose at School. So we're going to do that today. The leprechaun leaves shamrocks around, I think. I've only looked at the first couple of minutes, and he leaves shamrocks, and that's where the kids go. So that will fit into our shamrock paper. So we're going to do that when we come in, and then we're going to get into our 4-minute phonics of OA and OW for our phonics, and we're going to start a new story, something about vultures. I don't remember, but that's what we're going to do. I have 12 minutes before my lunch is over, so I'm going to go ahead and eat lunch. Like I said, it's raining again. It's after school. I've been here almost an hour. I was doing some stuff for an IEP I have coming up, and then I cleaned my desk, story of my life, and then I was looking at my art. I have Baby Yodas. We listened to Baby Yoda chicken nuggets, right? And so they were into Baby Yoda mood. We did our art. I'll show you our art. Here's our shamrock art that we did. So I gave them 25 minutes. Still had friends that had nothing, so they didn't put one up. I told them, take it home. I don't want it. They like to talk. Today was not very productive, / we did everything I wanted to do, but I was really glad it was a short day, because if it was still another hour, I ran out of things to do. So at the end, they were doing Lexia, which they normally don't do. I had friends finish their work from centers, and then after they finished, they read books. The other friends that finished their work from centers on Monday, Tuesday, they were just doing Lexia. So that was like the last 15 minutes of the day. And like I said, if it was a regular day, I would have had another hour. So I'm glad today was a minimum day. But we did everything that I wanted to do. But to me, it wasn't very productive today. We did read our story. We did do our phonics. We didn't do groups. We don't do groups on Wednesdays. We did our math, like we did everything, but to me it was just kind of like a blah day. But we finished, and tomorrow's tomorrow. When they come in tomorrow, they're gonna read, and then I'm gonna hand them tests. It's 3 different tests with the same idea, just so I know they know what their shapes are. And then we're gonna go on to our composite numbers. Tomorrow's Thursday, so I don't know if I wanna do another one of these. I told them we probably would. I'll see if they remind me. If they remind me, we'll do one. If not, I'll just keep going on. So I'm gonna jet. Tomorrow's Thursday. The day after that's Friday, which is St. Patrick's Day. So it's a fun, exciting end of the week. I'm gonna go to the art store. I need to pick up my high schooler, and then it's time to go home. Thank you for watching. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe.